Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP, and joining me here live in the studio is my good friend and fellow researcher, M3. Best co-host ever. DECLAS is happening. The good news is, this isn't even the beginning. We're in the middle of it. So much more to come. What's up to all my friends in the chat? Hello to my mods. Thank you for helping keep that chat comfy. Just over 760 people here with 293 likes. Guys, please do consider liking and sharing this broadcast. You know it's going to be a good one. Hello from Denmark. Hello, Minnesota. Hello, Ottawa. Massachusetts, Texas, and Virginia. Spain, Pennsylvania, Oregon. Patriots from all over the globe. North Carolina, Kentucky, Illinois, Bama, Kansas, Sonoma, California, Oregon, California, Oklahoma. It just doesn't stop. All right, friends, please do us a favor. Sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Franklin's Finest Coffee is the first ever emergency survival coffee with an actual up to 25-year shelf life. The kit provides a 1-year supply of flavorful Franklin's Finest coffee for one person. It's conveniently packaged in 12 resealable, 60-serving, heavy-duty 4-layer zipper pouches for a total of 720 servings. It's all packaged in a rugged, water-resistant bucket for easy storage, and Franklin's Finest Coffee is the ultimate survival perk, especially for those that drink coffee on a daily basis. Or you can take it camping. It's 100% Colombian, and it's also the perfect item for barter or trade in an emergency. You'll thank us later for that tip. As Benjamin Franklin said, among the numerous luxuries on the table, coffee may be considered as one of the most valuable. It excites cheerfulness without intoxication, and the pleasing flow of spirits which it occasions is never followed by sadness, languor, or debility. Welcome back, Patriots. You're listening to another edition of Quarantime. I am RP, and this is my host, M3.
What's going on, buddy? How are you doing today?
I am doing excellent. There is so much good news out there in the world. I feel like we are standing on the edge of greatness, and it's just one step forward, and we're going to be fully in the midst of it.
Right, these are the kind of waters that we like to be in, right?
Yes,
it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope everybody out in the chat's doing great today. I'm feeling good. I'm excited about things changing over because it's less talk about Kung Flu and more talk about the things that we've been wanting to talk about for years.
Yeah.
So this is very exciting times, man.
You know, and if you notice, we went through this period where there was virtually nothing else to talk about. And everybody was interested at first. People wanted all their CV-19 news. And now we're at the point where people are sick of hearing about it. And finally, we start pushing into something that they can really sink their teeth into. I mean, this is obviously, in my mind, so totally coordinated and staged. They're doing this in the way that they have to so that people will immediately jump onto this next hot button subject. Even if it's not covered in every single network, it's going to be impossible for people to not hear about it because people like us are going to be amplifying this story because it's so important. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get those 53 transcripts. I can't wait to take a look. And I know that there's going to be more coming after that. It's just incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Like the fact that they've been hiding it means, like we said yesterday, we want to see it. We want to have it out there in the public. We want to discuss it, take it apart, have fun with it, and all that stuff. So yeah, man, it's definitely exciting times, and there's plenty of other stuff that's got to come out as well.
Right, right. Well, let's get right into the post methods, because there's several new ones from today, and the first one includes a tweet from Del Bigtree, and the content of the post just says it's time to wake up. What Del has put out here in this tweet should make anyone just extremely angry. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. I don't care who you're going to vote for in November. The types of tactics we see being implemented here in Ventura, California, is quite literally straight out of like the Stasi handbook. These people are going to be going from house to house. They're going to be checking up on you. They're going to be using what are most likely flawed tests to determine if you are a person who's come into contact with or are a carrier or are sick with the CV-19. And there are all kinds of ramifications for you if you're one of those people. I don't know if everybody here saw the show I did last week where I talked about the contact tracing. Gavin Newsom and Bill Clinton, they were having a real jolly old time doing a live stream together, and they were talking about the creation of these contact tracers. Methods, do you want to explain to people what a contact tracer is?
Well, I mean, essentially what they're trying to do is trace the connections of somebody that has the Kung flu. They want to know who they were talking to, who they're connected with, who lives in their house, where they've been, and they're basically living inside your bubble and making sure that you're following their rules. Mm-hmm. Makes me, I know there's got to be a lot of people in the chat that have been trying to red pill people even before all this stuff happened with our favorite Anon and Trump becoming president. And we would talk about this being the future if they get their way. And how many of us lost friends saying, hey, by the way, they're going to want to go door to door. They're going to want to take our guns. They're going to want to know everything in your lives. It's going to be a scary situation. And then how many of those friends just stopped calling you back or answering the phone?
Yep.
And then now, so, I mean, I would love to be able to take this back to the past and show them and just shake them by the ears and be like, I was trying to tell you back then. But hey, no, it's okay. The I told you so's will be minimal because we need to, cover this. But yeah, they want to trace everybody's history and see what they're doing. And in that clip, they're talking about, like, if you live with other people and there's only one and you have the Kung flu, and even if they don't, if you only have one bathroom, you're not allowed to live there. They're telling you that they're going to take you somewhere else. They're going to take you out of the life that you've created to work for in a free, supposedly free country, and take you to a different place. And that's they want you divided. One of the famous quotes that we use a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a physical, straight to the point example of that. Because they want to separate everybody. They want to have control. And I think a part of this, why I think it's happening in California, is as these truths come out and even more, condemning things that are going to come out about, the people that run California, there's going to be revolts, right? There's going to have to be. And so doing those kind of things is separating, have control. They're also tracing who you are. Mm-hmm. So they're already going to have a bio on you.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that this is dangerous territory, because a lot of people are not going to put up with this.
I think it's about time I get Paul Preston from the new California state back on the show to see how far along that initiative is, because this is, obviously the kind of thing that we would not be seeing if the majority of California split off and became a 51st state. It's pretty disgusting. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of this clip, you guys. So let's take a look.
We are beginning a program today which will certainly grow into something larger and larger, and that is a community contact tracing program.
First thing I want to point out, it's going to be getting larger. They're going to grow it. This is not going to be solely used for Kung Flu, for CV-19, guys. This is going to be spread far and wide. This is going to be the new normal in places like California. But I do want to say, I think that this type of thing right here is exactly what Attorney General Barr was talking about when he sent those letters out to the state's attorneys a week or so ago.
Contact tracing all along. That a contact is a person who's been exposed to someone that we document to have the COVID infection. When we find someone who has a COVID infection, those people are immediately isolated. But we also work with them to figure out who their contacts were. But the purpose of this program is to bring on people. We may bring on up to 50 or even more as the program grows and as we see the needs for it. As we do more testing, we will find more and more people who have COVID-19. And again, we'll isolate every one of them, and we will find every one of their contacts.
All right, so just continuing this thread here, how large is this going to get? I mean, where are they going to take these people? How many people are they willing to isolate? What are the terms of the isolation? Are we talking about filling up stadiums with beds? Or are we talking about moving people into secure rooms? This is just an absolutely insane time in history. The fact that they are okay with doing this, that they're okay with just trampling all over our rights and allowing for this stuff to be the new norm. If there was ever a time for civil disobedience, guys, I think we're there. I think that we have reached that point.
Right. And once again, we're not calling for, full disclosure, we're not calling for riots or anything like that. We're not giving that charge personally. But I when this stuff's going on, and I always try to think about, because first off, they never thought that she was going to lose. And we also talk about how they're still trying to implement their plan, right? They're still going after all this stuff. So I try to think about what's happened in the timeline since Trump got elected that the Democrats have been still trying to do, and how it would have played into things. Because I still fully believe that we would have had this Kung Flu situation happen, knowing that the deep state is so in bed with China, or the CCP rather, and they would have had control of the wheel during all this stuff. So, okay, what were they trying to do a year or two ago, especially, was they were coming after the Second Amendment hard. Right. So what do they need to do if they're going to try to get away with this kind of control in your personal bubble, in your life, is take away your guns. So they once again are just following their playbook. So it's a very scary thing to get that far when you think about if we didn't have control of certain things like the presidency.
A couple of thank yous here. Trump Be Cool says, have you seen that the CDC has signed on to vote by mail? They don't like that 17 plus has concerns over fraud. Yeah, we definitely saw that. We're going to be talking about it. Redbird says, our press secretary was savage yesterday. Where we go one, we go all. Kayleigh McEnany is a boss as far as I'm concerned. Stu Randall says, we will locate all the J-Oo's and isolate them and all their new friends. Yeah, this is the same type of thing that we've seen many times in history. And Mr. Spock says, we were told the shutdown was only to flatten the curve, which has been accomplished. Absolutely, it has. And the next things that we are going to be talking about is going to be related to that. Well, let's move on. Actually, I'm just going to drop this tweet from Dell here into the chat, so everybody can go check it out if they want in full. All right, so moving on to the next. Oh, there's another post. Sweet. The next post is in regards to Facebook removing pages that have to do with our favorite Anon. And what they have here is a graphic which shows a whole bunch of different pages that have been removed. And it says, when do you expend ammunition? For what purpose? Prevent public exposure of truth, slow limit reach, coordinated media rollout designed to instill fear into users regarding discussing our favorite Anon, regarding risk of account termination, coordinated media rollout designed to silence a conspiracy they deem to have significant potential anti-democratic ramifications regarding 2020 presidential election. You have more power and influence than you realize. Welcome to the revolution. So this is the point that we're at. They are so desperate to maintain their stranglehold on the power, what little power they have left, that they are willing to go ahead and do this. And I do believe this is the kind of thing that works for people. They say, I don't want to have my channel deleted. It's too difficult to talk about things like this, so I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to watch. Hopefully that isn't what happens. Hopefully people continue to talk about this stuff. And it's a big part of the reason why we try to talk in, code here, because we realize that there is a large chance that they're going to come after an account like this because they've done it many times in the past. There have been many people who've had their accounts deleted or limited or terminated, whatever you want to say. Up until this point, we've been successful, and hopefully we can continue to be successful because we get the point across without necessarily tripping the wires. But this is bad news for freedom here in America. The fact that they're going ahead and deleting these pages, limiting the reach of these people, limiting the spread of this message.
Oh, I totally agree. And to your point, if we refuse to cover certain things because we're afraid to have accounts taken down, that's self-censorship. They win. That's the whole point. They'd much rather you do it to yourself instead of them getting caught doing these things, even though at this point they're going after it. And you know how Facebook had just announced that they were having their quote unquote Supreme Court for Facebook as far as like how to go about countering disinformation. Yeah. A lot of air quotes on what I'm saying. You remember that woman? I can't remember her name because I don't like to remember names. But the woman that referred to Trump, Trump being a king and he named his son Barron. Y'all remember that? Oh yeah. She's appointed to that board. So that's the kind of person that's going to be deciding what you're allowed to say on that platform. And I imagine that there's a lot of people like that across all these platforms, even though I think Facebook is the dumpster fire that we shouldn't be using unless we need to get to, obviously your family, old college friends, stuff like that. It is dying off to me. I don't like using it, so I don't. But yeah, they have to do this because of how we don't even need our favorite Anon to tell us. Think about how much influence we have. Like we said yesterday, they went after the DNI saying that he follows, our favorite Anon or like Twitter accounts that cover that stuff. The fact that we've created that much, they would much rather us not be big enough to where they don't even have to mention it, but they have to because we're all over the place.
Yep. And it's a sad thing to see our country going this way. And I have to keep hoping and praying that something is going to be done. These tech companies have such an incredible reach. They have such incredible power, and they're clearly not acting as a platform. They're acting as publishers. They're limiting the content that people are allowed to put out, and it's not dangerous to anybody but them. That's the reason that they're doing it.
And one quick point before we move on, because I had this thought that I've been chewing on. Like, I know that we keep saying, why have they not, implemented, the Internet Bill of Rights, making them called, publishers and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to make excuses, but I ask myself why. And the thought that comes to my head is, what better way than having all this information come out? We're talking, the 6,000 pages of transcripts, indictments, troops coming out, certain video clips that we would like to see of people saying things that they don't want the public to know. What better way than them then going too far, deleting all of us, and then that being used as evidence, to pass those things and then say, okay, well, they were trying to cover up this information. So the normies and people out there in the world that are fully awake or not awake at all are like, well, they censored that and they just got in trouble. So what were they censoring? That gets people interested. So that's just something I've been chewing on.
Yeah, and, Lightning Fire says God wins in the end, read the Bible. That's a big part of the reason why I stay so comfy, okay? I'm not afraid that I'm going to get deleted. I'm not worried about it. It hasn't happened thus far, and as long as I need to be here in this position, I will be. So continue to tune in, you guys. Also, Jojo dropped my Twitter in the chat. If you're not on Twitter, I suggest getting on Twitter because every time I put a video out, the notification goes out there. If you're not getting the notifications on this platform, you can always see them if you turn on your notifications for Twitter. But also, if you are subscribed here and you go to my channel page, you can hit that notification bell and ask for all notifications. And you're not going to get all notifications, but you're probably going to get a good amount of them. Lynn Owen says we need to switch platforms to the ones that don't censor ASAP. Well, the problem is, Lynn, that we have so many varied platforms. We don't have a consensus on where to go. Unfortunately, right now, this one is where everybody's at. And I'll be totally honest with you. I don't want to back down. I don't want to turn my tail and run and hide. I want to go ahead and fight this battle right here because I've been on this platform since 2006, okay? 14 years with an account here. This is longer than any other social media platform that I've ever been on, and I don't want that to be taken away from me. I've worked really hard to build up what we have here, and, I want this. Unfortunately.
And also normies use this platform. And I use that term just to refer to people that don't follow this kind of information. They use this platform, right? So we need to have the information at least there that they hopefully come across it.
Yep. Yep. So, there's a possibility that people who don't know anything about my channel can come across it. And then perhaps they're going to wake up and it's just going to be like, man, what have I been doing? I've been lied to this whole time. Let's see. Mr. Spock, thank you again for that. Stephanie Oostvin, the critter girl, says, where will they take them? I keep thinking about all those coffins purchased during Barry's reign. That's something else. Somebody else in the chat said something about cardboard hospital beds that fold up into coffins. I think it's pretty, even if that does exist, I mean, what a brilliant invention. I'm sure that person's got quite the patent, but I don't even think that's even going to be necessary. If you look at the numbers, it's not what they're saying. We don't have to worry. Michael Kenny says Patriots should pool money and purchase MySpace. That would be an interesting thing if we had a bunch of Patriots that bought MySpace. I am in the process. I just made contact last night with somebody who I hope is going to be able to build me a nice modern website so all of my videos can be hosted there. I'm going to have that email list. I'm going to have everybody sign up, and then I can send you an email when I put a new video out. The thing is, it's still going to have to be hosted through here. This is another thing people don't realize. The cost of maintaining the infrastructure to hold all of these videos and to stream them over the internet is wickedly expensive and very much cost prohibitive. It's not something that I could do on my own. I need something like this in order to facilitate that. Thank you again, Lynn. Patriot Dog Dad 1 says Facebook deleted without warning my 10-plus-year-old Facebook account and 30 minutes later suspended my Twitter. Had to start both over again. Yeah, unfortunately, that is a familiar refrain. We see it all the time. If I get deleted, I'm going to go and I'm going to continue to use my backup channels. That's another great thing, you guys. If you're not subscribed to my backup channels yet, go into the description of this video. There are 2 backup channels, Red Pill Clips and I think Red Pill Vlogs. I don't know. I just had to call them something. Go ahead and subscribe to them. It would do us a lot here. Brutus DM says, is there a rabbit hole somewhere in Valley Forge content? I think I fell in last night, like a military network. Couldn't find it again. QTube. I don't know. That's the first time I've heard of something like that, Brutus. Baby Love 78 said, did you know the Chinese trial of remdesivir showed it was ineffective? It was on WHO's website, then taken down. Yes, I actually spoke about it just a couple of days ago. It has absolutely no effect on the mortality of people suffering from CV-19. It is an ineffective drug. There is absolutely no reason to pay $1,000 a pill. Remdesivir is a fraud. Navy Vet says, RP and M3 just a theory. Congress isn't reporting because they are under house arrest waiting for Durham. Thoughts? I don't think they're under house arrest. I think Nancy Pelosi was just pictured wearing a designer face mask someplace out in public, and I don't think it was at her house. I think that they're not coming back because they know that there's about to be some major light shed on this. And I do think that that's what our favorite Anon was pointing to with those infrared lasers lighting up targets, so then we could go ahead and Moab them. I think that that's essentially Congress. We're shining the light on exactly what we need to hit, and yeah, that's part of Adam Schiff being forced to release this this cache of documents.
And to that point, real quick, because I've seen that question out there recently, but I've also seen it posted as fact, and this is a great example, if that's not true, of egg on the face of the movement as a whole, or at least used as such if that's not the case. So that's the kind of things that Red Pill and I are very careful about even speculating to a point, because it then becomes that echo chamber telephone game. And so, yeah, I'd love for them all to be on house arrest and for us to find out about it. But the likelihood is not worth covering it, whether it be for views, clicks, or, just agreeing with everybody,
Right. Right. And then just over the weekend, there was the story that Comey and a bunch of people had been arrested on Sunday, or that there were those indictments that had been released. I mean, nothing's happened. I don't think that was real. I think that was just somebody who had, an interest in writing up a good story. Unfortunately, that happens all too often, and that's why we try to keep ourselves accountable, and we try to make sure that we only put out information that we can actually source, and if it's not sourced, then we talk about it in theory. EO2 Dave says, if CodeMonkey wanted to, could he make a video platform to compete with YouTube and on 8kun? Perhaps he could, but I know that CodeMonkey has his hands well full working with his platform that he has already. I get people all the time saying, just make a website, or, just start uploading your videos someplace else. And most people, unless you're in this situation, you don't realize how much time and effort is going to, what you see on the screen. So for an hour of content that you see on the screen, I had 3 hours of prep before we actually got on the air. And then as soon as I get off the air, I have to immediately start making my 6 o'clock show. Yesterday, it didn't even come out until about 7 because it just took that much time. And it could take even more time. But I don't have the time to put into it. And then, last night I was up till 3 in the morning checking emails. I got through about 200 of them. And then today, already at this time, a good portion of the majority of those 200 have already been filled in with additional emails that I need to go back through. And it's very time consuming. So, Code Monkey would have to have a team probably making that. I know he already has a team of people, but again, that takes money and sometimes that's not what people have.
And a lot of people assume that they make a whole lot, or not a lot, but I've seen people say that 8kun makes a lot of money. They assume so because of the traffic.
Yeah.
I've heard reports that it's really not as much as you think, or you would think happened. That it's just something that that it's more profitable than expected before when a certain other person owned it. Mm-hmm. And real quick, I just saw Sue Randall in the chat say Callie is putting homeless in hotels and giving them free booze and drugs.
Oh.
We had actually discussed maybe bringing that up today if we had time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sue Randall, that's a mess. I mean, they're giving, but once again, they want a ballot harvest and have them vote Democrats. So why not give them their vices and shelter?
Yeah, providing heroin, providing marijuana, providing alcohol, and of course, free needles, because that's what really matters in the midst of a pandemic. All right, let's move on to the next post. The next one is an article from the Moscow Times, and our favorite Anon says that Russia using HCQ to treat CV-19. Source of HCQ, China. China using HCQ to treat CV-19. The more you know. Wow, what a coincidence. And meanwhile, we're told that this is an unproven and experimental therapeutic that doesn't work. They're pushing this remdesivir, which, as we just said, just was released to say that it does not have any effect on mortality. Why would you take something if it doesn't make a difference whether you live or die? It's the same thing as taking a sugar pill, okay? You might as well take a placebo if you're going to be given remdesivir. And somebody said it's liquid, not pill, whatever it is. Either way, it's a medicine. So
yeah, we don't pay attention to it enough, I guess, at this moment.
Yeah.
But hey, quick shout out to 412 Anon. He's out in the chat. I hope you're doing well. And everybody, make sure you catch him later on his show.
What up, 412? Good to see you, buddy. Let me say thank you to the Chris Lieb. No, I'm sorry. Baby Love 78. No, wait. Georgia Patriot. I was feeling very alone until I joined Twitter about a month ago. Lots of like-minded 17 folks here, and it's the front line of the meme war. Exactly. That's another place where people are at. And I have seen so many messages like that, Georgia Patriots. So many people saying that they were very alone. They didn't have a community until they were able to join something like that or come here and hang out in this chat. That's why I want it to be comfy. That's why I want people to be respectful. That's why if you're going to be trolling, I don't want you here. Baby Love 78 says, Dr. Rick Bright is a WHO scientific advisor. His attorney is Deborah Katz. Why do I know that name, Deborah Katz? Who's Deborah Katz?
She's the one that represented Blasey Ford, right?
Yes.
Or at least her law firm did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On all that. And also I saw it out in the chat, and I'm going to forget it. Oh, yeah. Mary Fremlin says Texas Supreme Court has ordered the release of Shelley Luther. We plan on talking about that as well.
Yeah.
Mary.
Bring that up next.
Murray, sorry.
The Kegel says, love all the great info and digs. Thank you, RP Methods, Space Shot, R-Doc, Hulkinator et al. Chris Lieb says, RP and M3, I tweeted you a Housatonic video last night. Professionally researched summary includes all links, details, what CEO stepped aside early 2020, cashing out stocks, and don't have to report money. Okay, well, Chris, send it to me in a direct message on Twitter. The Mikado 16 says, we are meant to be here on the earth at this time. God wins, and we are his digital soldiers. A target not attacked is a target not dangerous. Where we go one, we go all. Wise words. Patricia64 says, if each of your followers sent you $10, you would have $2.2 million. That could help with a new platform. I'm in. Well, thank you, Patricia. If my followers all sent me $2.2 million total, I would definitely build one. Chris Hawkins says, post 4133, there's a reason Congress did not return to work this week and next week, non-COVID related. I think it has to do with the DECLAS. Charles Pixley says, has to be nipped in the bud. This will stop at asking flu virus questions, investigator opinions, and Snoop reports next. Who pays them? What authority allows creation of such an invasion? You're totally right. This is just the beginning. DeLona says remdesivir is just supposed to make the illness last 11 days instead of 14. And it sounds like a waste of time to me. Sue Randall says, since it's an injection, it could be their sneaky way to get a microchip in, since they know most people are now against vax. Very good point. John Asturia says, I and the other Millenons come here to take a break from the silent war. Thank you for all you do in the greatest operation in history. John, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. So, Russia, go ahead.
Real quick before you move on, we got over 4,000 people here hanging out. We love it. We're really appreciative. Please click that like button if you're enjoying what you hear. I want to thank everybody who's hit me up in PayPal. I really appreciate it. If I went through any of the comments there, this show would only be that. So thank you guys for that. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for everybody. And yeah, man, let's keep going.
Yeah, and I just want to say, you guys, this is my channel. Methods just comes here and hangs out with me. So when you guys send directly to his PayPal, that goes directly to him. He doesn't ask for money. He does what he does on Twitter, absolutely free. It's a public service. So I appreciate it when you specifically help him out because, I love this guy. I love it that he's here with me. So Russia has now approved this, HCQ to treat CV-19. And more than a dozen countries are studying the effects, and that includes Russia and China. They have a total of 32,008 CV-19 cases and only 273 people who have expired. I think they've been on top of this for quite some time. I mean, for all the guff that Putin gets out in the mainstream media, the guy knows his stuff, okay? He's not afraid to take care of the people of his country. You gotta love it.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, you covered it well.
All right, post 4138, we have a tweet from Huber Hammer Q, and it shows a 1-minute delta between POTUS tweet and post 4137. And it says more of that LARPing the shills must be talking about, less than or around a 1-minute delta. And then our favorite Anon says, calculating lag near impossible. Watch the news today, tomorrow, next week. So let's keep our eyes on the prize, guys, because that's why we are here. And then post 4139. Fact versus fiction, bridging, posting of Patriot Twit accounts serves to expand reach, prevent collapse, and maintain strength through unity. And we have a tweet from Walked Away, it looks like. Let's go ahead and take a look. U.S. Patriot. Oh, it's a segment with HRC. I feel that he should have been given the Medal of Freedom for this. Let's go ahead and take a look at this interview real quick.
Everything I did was permitted by law and regulation. I had one device.
Secretary Clinton used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email on that personal domain.
My use of personal email was allowed by the State Department.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material.
There is evidence to support a conclusion that any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I never sent classified material on my email, and I never received any that was marked classified.
All I can think is, 110 emails on 52 email chains were intended to have classified information. If you guys don't know who that video is, there was somebody that took Jim Comey's press conference and turned it into an amazing song. I always want to say place-boing, but I don't think that one was actually place-boing.
I actually tweeted that out a while ago. I'm going to see if I can find it because it's great.
Dude, please do. Please do. Okay, so next I need to say thank you to Lorinda Krause, #1 fan. Thank you. Leanne Staub says, thank you, Red Pill and Methods, for making this quarantine bearable. God bless. God bless you as well. Navy Vet says, breaking news, Flynn case just dropped. What? I know that Brandon Van Grack stepped away, but if
I'm looking, I see a lot of people in the chat saying that. If anybody could tell us which direction to look, we don't want to run with it too far just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been looking around for it.
All right.
I see a lot of great news. Oh yeah, okay. Breaking news from. Okay, I've got a tweet here. First off, let me drop the link to that video, the singing Comey. I found it. So there's a bunch of times because we're going to move on. Justice Department is dropping criminal case against ex-Trump advisor Flynn, according to court filing obtained by AP. So far we only have it through AP, but I'm going to drop this here in the. Oh, hold on, I've got somebody else sending me something that's probably more. But yeah, okay. I've got
total exoneration.
Yeah, here we go. I'm dropping this in the chat, and now I'm going to send it to Red Pill.
All right.
So you have it for the screen.
So before that, earlier today, Brandon Van Grack stepped down from the Flynn case. He also is withdrawing as counsel in other cases in the government. I bet he is going to lose his job. And the fact that we now have confirmation that the case against General Flynn has been dropped by the AP, hopefully we can get some additional confirmation. I don't doubt it, though. I don't doubt it. What a boom, you guys. What do you think about that? That sure looks like a boom to me. What's coming next? Oh, there's so much good stuff coming. Let's see. Ballerina Love says, sent my kids with babysitter to our neighborhood park today in SoCal. Told the babysitter to ignore the sign. I'll record a video for y'all when the police come. Okay, definitely do it. Julia for Freedom says, what are both your thoughts on General Flynn prosecutor pulling the pin? Please wake up Aussies too. Where we go one, we go all worldwide. I think it's an excellent sign that Brandon Van Grack is about to get his butt nailed to the wall. It's quite obvious that he completely broke the law. He was a dishonest prosecutor, malicious prosecution. He tried to destroy this good man's life. This is the best news that I could possibly have received today. I'm just hoping maybe something else is going to come, but something tells me they're going to let this percolate and just completely soak in throughout the entire media. Pegster 6, boom, is right. Let's see. Gafferanon says, wondering if the not safe for work embedded video link in post 4126 was worth digging on. If not, why do you think our favorite Anon posted it in the first place, then reposted a clean version later on? I tend to think that it was a mistake, and then it was posted again. But, I mean, I got to be honest, I didn't even notice the not safe for work video link until somebody else brought it up, and when I saw that the video was posted again, a higher res version of it. Methods, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I get it. I don't know if necessarily our favorite Anon, the team itself, was even looking into that as far as it being the bottom of the clip. It was the intent to me was the actual video clip itself.
Yeah.
But it gets called out because Anons don't miss anything.
Right.
So the fact that it does that, but then again, on 8kun, you're not exactly going to see, safe for work stuff as well. So
no, I mean, it's par for the course.
It's the internet world, right?
Yeah.
So, but the fact that it came back and then put a different one down, mine is something like doing a timestamp delta on something else. I haven't looked to see if the minutes are different. To me, it's probably just saying, all right, we hear you, but we're not going to try to draw attention to what that is so we don't have other people looking. Yeah. But here's a fresh one for you guys to cover since some people refuse to put it out.
All right, so we have a new post. It's on the screen. It is the American flag, and it says, let freedom ring, and we have the article from the AP. And it says, breaking, Justice Department is dropping criminal case against ex-Trump advisor Michael Flynn, according to court filings obtained by AP. The prosecution has been a rallying cry for the president in attacking the FBI Russia investigation, as it should. General Flynn is innocent. He has now been completely exonerated. This man deserves to get all of his money back that he was forced to spend defending himself. This is the absolute most disgusting display of prosecutorial overreach, attempting to destroy this man's life. The FBI were a major part of it, and now that this case is over, I think we're going to be seeing more stuff coming out from the FBI. Because it's going to be, part of the Durham investigation. There is going to be a bunch of people who are going to go down for this. It is so great. Let's see. Todd Jensen, thank you for that. Chimichanga 420, thank you for that. I love Deadpool, by the way. Let's see. And Rob Loblaw. There is a character Bob Loblaw. You get Tube, new video platform. I'll have to check it out. Bella Rito says, if they knock on your door for CV, ask for their warrant, refuse their entry, read them the Constitution through the door, and videotape everything. I sure hope that anybody here that's listening has that if they have that same experience, then please make sure you do. Our Cloaked Unseen World says 6-minute YouTube video from the hidden frequency, 528 hertz. Did you send me that last night? Somebody sent me an email about 528 hertz stuff, and I was actually bookmarked a channel on a website that was all music that's been switched over to 528 hertz. It's supposed to be healing or something like that. Amazing dates and times for Where We Go One, We Go All to sing in 528 hertz songs. Walls of Jericho, Endgame for Devil, Future Proofs Past, Everyone Wakes Up, This Will Work. Let's see. John Asturias says, check AP. Cheryl Bramer says, I'm in. Build away, Red. Please expose the MDs that refuse to prescribe HCQ, or better yet, list doctors that haven't drank the Kool-Aid and are prescribing and saving lives. No euthanasia no euthanasia of the vulnerable. Stephanie Eustman, DOJ dropping Flynn charges. LOL, probably already said. Kathleen Bikert, thank you for that. Lydia Negrila says, this is the only place I get my news. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you very much, Lydia. I appreciate you being here with us. White Hat says, Flynn news legit. New post as well. Navy Vet, our favorite Anon just confirmed. Casey Anon, drop number 4140. Dale Bercier, I just have to say that if the AP is correct, awesome sauce. I just made you say awesome sauce. I just said it twice, brother. Stephanie Eustman, Fox News has now confirmed. Michael Kenny, Flynn being freed is going to be like that bouncy ball thing from the movie Men in Black. Yeah, dude, this is the flood. I said that in my video the other day. All of the information coming up to Flynn, it's the drip, drip, drip. He gets exonerated. That is the full flood. It's going to be big the next couple of days. Our favorite, what did he say? He said today, tomorrow, and then next week. It's just going to be nonstop wall-to-wall coverage.
What comes out tomorrow and then next week and stuff, right? Well, Technofog just dropped the actual document about them dropping it. I put it in your DM, Red Pill.
I got it.
And I'm going to drop it out here in the chat for you guys to have the actual sauce behind it.
All right, guys, let's check that out. The motion to dismiss the charges against General Flynn, based on an extensive review and careful consideration of the circumstances that continued prosecution of this case, would not serve the interests of justice. Absolutely, man. But you know what will serve the interest of justice? Getting General Flynn restored. I sure hope this was dropped with prejudice so that there's no way they can ever possibly come after him again. Let's see. Hey, Jude says, iPod said the first video redirected some people to a prawn site. Okay, all right. Chris Hawkins says, I was waiting for you to squeal, RP, not making fun of you at all. I actually physically stopped myself from squealing. I didn't want to blow people's eardrums out. I was anticipating, and anyone who wants to make fun of that can speak to me. How many have the balls to do what you do, RP? Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. I do appreciate it. Well, I'll tell you guys something that bugs me. I get comments on my videos constantly asking me why I blink so much. And here's the thing, okay? I have very long, luscious eyelashes, and they touch my glasses. Imagine feeling like you have a feather in between your eyelashes constantly. It makes you blink involuntarily. I can't do anything about it. Somebody, Eric, if you're listening, said that looking at me, watching my videos, was like staring at a handicapped person. Like, come on, dude, really? Really? He said, I always teach my children to look away. Personally, I think that if you have to avert your gaze anytime you see somebody who's different than you, there's something going on inside of yourself. Just treating someone like a human being is one thing, but, staring because you feel uncomfortable or looking away because you feel uncomfortable. I mean, there's something else going on there, dude. Just treat people like human beings and don't be jerks. That's Janet Adams. Thank you for that. Rob Loblaw says Bob Loblaw was the inspiration. Cack, I figured. Gino says Flynn's exoneration is the deep state door that needed to be kicked down to bring pain to the treasonous traitors. Thank you, Lord. Our prayers have been answered. Jared Kirkpatrick says paid Russian propaganda. Own any sauce? No, they are suing because Rachel Madcow said that about them. OWN is an American-owned company. They are one of the last honest news organizations left in this country, and they are definitely not Russian propaganda. Let's see. Risa Langdon says, do you think they just dropped the charges so they wouldn't have to provide the records Powell was asking for? I don't know. No, I think that they dropped the charges because it was necessary for them. I don't know that they had any that they hadn't turned over. Methods, do you know anything about this? Like, even if they drop the charges, are they still not responsible? Or do they no longer have to turn anything over? I mean, I would think that they would still have to do it.
Right. I mean, especially since it's being asked for, and especially if there's now like a counter lawsuit that happens, then all that information would still end up in that whole apparatus around, what Flynn is dealing with, and Powell would handle that. Sidney Powell is a bulldog. She's gonna take care of him. He's gonna be set. But you have to also think that documentation could have already have made, or it's on its way over to Barr and Durham. Because if they're dropping, think about just what happened here. If they are exonerating him entirely, then there was no crime.
No crime.
Now, Anon's, this digital army, go find all the times that they ran him into the dirt and said that he was, he had broke the law. He deserves to be in jail, years, all this stuff. You could say, I'd spent 15 minutes on YouTube and saw 10, 15 clips of them throwing him under the bus, saying they had absolute evidence against him and all this stuff. Like, the fact that he's exonerated and then the prosecutor dude steps down, Van Grack, then you have a situation where it's going to have to be proven as to why, because the mainstream media has sold it to the public that he deserves to be in jail. So there's going to have to be an explanation that comes out, even if it's just our side explaining it. And the best way to explain it is for prosecutions to happen to the people that targeted him. Right? You see the stage starting to be built. And I know that term gets said a lot, but in this case for Flynn, the stage is being built to now we explain why it happened. And that's when it gets a lot of fun.
John Asturias just sent me an email saying that here's a crumb on the video linking to the prawn stuff. Has to do with illegal gun running. Worth a dig. Picture attached has been scrubbed of personal data. Hey, dude, thank you. I'll definitely look into it after the show. Let's see. Joe C. says Trump's pee wee wee long. Suki says, I love to see Red Pill get excited about booms. Vicky Otto Laraway says 10 ND Anons with you. Where we go one, we go all. Alexandria Occasional Cortex says, Socialist Mop, what difference does it make? Socialist Mop, that's right. Man, I wish that channel was still producing content. I am subscribed. White Hat says, what a relief, Patriots. We have been right all along with Flynn. Doesn't it feel good? It happened. Get ready for the storm tweet, in my opinion. That's right. White Hat seems to think that there's a possibility the tweet about the storm arriving, that could be coming from General Flynn. Julia for Freedom says, great work, RP and M3. Love all your hard work. Thank you. I think that we should also be looking to see some tweets coming from General Flynn, probably with some actual tweets, not just a photo, not just a small video, or not just a retweet of anything related to his court case. Now that he's been exonerated, he is free to go out and speak. I would absolutely love it if I could get General Flynn to appear on the program. But something tells me he's going to find his way back into the Trump administration. And, based on that, he'll probably stick to the mainstream television circuit. Man, I cannot wait. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. Methods.
Yeah, I want a press conference. I want to hear him standing next to Sidney Powell, and for them to go complete offense, even more so than they have been, and give him a chance to talk. Because now, like we've talked about this before, but we might have some new people here. Think about what Flynn can talk about now. Think about what he was talking about doing before all this stuff happened. Why did they target him?
Yeah.
What did he know? Because he was going to, obviously downsize the intel community and go after, bring people to justice when it comes to dark money that was being spent. But what else would he know about? And we've talked about it. The short story version is ISIS. what happened in Benghazi, all those different things. So the fact that he can be free to talk, and I bet he wants to, because he's having to see the same stuff that we have about them just like sweeping things under the rug or just blatantly lying to the American public. And he's all about honesty. He wants the stuff out there. So the fact that Flynn can right now is very exciting. And I'm sure there's already a game plan on how he's going to go about things now. And he's had plenty of time to think about it. So this is exciting times. This is a victory. So as far as anybody that was, we don't like to do the date fairy stuff, but I mean, this is technically a boom week, right?
Yeah, this is definitely a boom week. I will stand on that all day. All right, so here's some more good news, you guys. I'm sure that you heard about salon owner Shelley Luther. She was given 7 days in jail and a $7,000 fine. Okay, $7,000 fine because she couldn't feed her kids and her employees at the salon couldn't feed their kids. So they opened up the salon. This is in Texas. I think it was in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. And they went after her. She got more jail time than anybody on the left has ever gotten for any crimes they've committed. Think about how much illegal stuff goes on. And what did they choose to enforce? They choose to enforce this poor salon owner. Now, the good news is, she has raised over $500,000, $500,000 from a GoFundMe, which people put together to support her. And the Texas Supreme Court has now reversed the decision of that liberal judge. And Governor Greg Abbott has also signed on, saying that the punishment that they gave her was far in excess of anything that she was due. And I believe that as a result of this case, Governor Abbott has also changed the rules for opening the state back up. And, to piggyback on that, President Trump and the White House have also ditched the CDC guidelines for opening up the rest of the country. I think that is incredible news. Now, there is still a barbershop owner, I believe in St. Louis. He's looking at a $25,000 fine. I think this guy deserves our support as well. I'm sorry, it's Minnesota. $25,000 fine because he attempted to reopen his business. This guy doesn't deserve it. Shelley Luther didn't deserve it. The American public need to get back to work. We all need to be productive members of society. We need to feed our families. We need to take care of each other. And the only way that's going to happen is if we can provide goods and services to each other through the legal action of commerce. And I'm very excited about what's going on with Shelley and the fact that the White House is telling the CDC to go flip it.
Yeah, right. Think about the ripple effect here, right? She said up front that they were probably going to make an example of her, but she didn't care.
Yep.
She believed in it. She wanted to take care of her own. She considered it essential work because it was taking care of kids and her workers and everything like that. Like, imagine now being other companies that were small business owners and stuff that were now facing the same dilemma. Well, there's your precedents right there. For one, and second of all, that's motivational. That's a win for our side. Yes, she went to jail. Yeah, but she's freed now, and she paid the price. How many of the small business owners that are listening right now would be willing to go through what she just did to come out on top like this and be the example for other ones to then take care of their own families?
Yep.
So this is a very exciting, once again, I mean, you're going to go through these things. There are those troubles that we go through, but you endure these things, kind of like the attacks that we get, as a movement. You endure these things for the brighter future. And that's why the God wins in the end is so very important. Because God's hand is definitely over that situation. She could have been thrown under the bus for a while, made the example even further. But that, to me, this is so much winning at this point in the middle of something that felt so dark and just frustrating.
Yeah. I don't think that there's any type of coincidence here with the timing of this. We were stuck in this loop of CV-19, just nonstop, everybody talking about it, everybody obsessing about it, everybody worrying, are they going to get it? And, and now finally it's going away. President Trump stopped the press conferences. He's telling the CDC to shove it. We've got people trying to get back to work. It's time to cover something else. This is the perfect time for General Flynn to be exonerated. Why? Because it ensures that this is the only thing that's going to get talked about. What else is going on? What else is really going on that they're going to be able to fill all of this time with? They're going to have to talk about General Flynn. This is the biggest story of the century. And here we are right in the midst of it. What an honor to be here with you guys. I am so pleased. I'm so pleased. Everything we've been fighting for is just right around the corner. We've started that snowball rolling, and it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going. I'm so excited. It's incredible.
Right. It's got to play out this way, and now it should make a lot of sense to everybody as this goes forward and this information gets released.
Yeah. Let's say Julia for Freedom. She says, great work, RP and M3. Love your hard work. Thank you. Thank you, Julia. Australia representing. Q-Wife MAGA Life says, read Method's tweet he just put out about Flynn. Yeah, I actually...
he can't read that on air, bud.
I can't read it on air, but I can show it on screen. Flynn freed... I already retweeted it, dude. As soon as I saw it,
I mean, I'm very engaged in the show. I don't want the audience to know I'm paying attention, but I had to put that thought out there. So
yeah, it's no problem. I also did a tweet about Flynn just because I had to as well. John Asturia says, links into the illegal gun running and human trafficking. Think Brian Terry death in 2010 and Fast and Furious and Eric Holder. Crumb is worth baking. I'm going to take that crumb, John. I'm going to mix it up with a whole bunch of dough, and we're going to serve up a hot, tasty loaf of bread for you guys. BLS, is that BLS or BIS? Well, BLS only says, thank you for being you. Thank you for that. Our Cloaked Unseen World says, filmed a huge planetary object last night on YouTube. Send me an email or send me a DM on Twitter. God's Daughter says, did you just hear what happened with Flynn? Yes, God's Daughter. We covered it for sure. Trump Be Cool says, DOJ drops the case against Flynn per Fox News. It is a wonderful day. Sherry Campbell says, social distancing is important. Politically distancing from Dems is even more important in November. White Hat said, our favorite Anon did say watch the news today. They definitely did today, tomorrow, and next week. Alan 061, Sidney Powell, it's Roger's turn. What say you? Yeah, Sidney Powell, how about you represent Roger Stone now that you've got a break in your schedule? Son of a Green Card says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Stay strong, guys. That is what I live by my life by, you guys. I am not afraid of this. I know that we're winning, and I know that we're on the right side, and I know that God has our back. Are You Handy says, gematria for Keck equals JFK. No coincidence. See Clouseau, JFK, 1S, must be Project Looking Glass. Oh, very interesting. Wow, Woods Own World says, Red Pill, I never noticed you blinking, but I must admit I'm the one who took the squeal video and sent it to Methods, and oh, Facepick 2, love you, brother. It's not a problem. I think I never honestly noticed it all that much either. It's, I mean, you blink thousands of times a day. I didn't notice it really until people started saying something about it, and then I had to deconstruct it in my own mind, and it's very obvious. I have these glasses, and I can't do anything about it. Okay, I've worn glasses my entire life, and I can't wear contacts because I have astigmatism. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's no big deal, but I just had to say something about it because I can't believe how many comments I get about it. Either way, you guys, what a wonderful day. Methods, I'm so glad we were here together at this time when we were able to get this figured out. You guys, this is probably going to go down in history as my favorite show because it's the one where General Flynn was exonerated. I am looking forward to tonight's news. Don't forget, come back at 6 p.m. And I better see all you guys here tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the next edition of Quarantime as well.
And to that point, now obviously this is going to be a show that we'll always remember. We shout out to the chat because they let us know about it.
Heck yeah.
And that's why we try to be interactive. I know he's reading super chats and all that stuff, but I'm reading through and sometimes I notice things that I didn't think about before, and it helps, helps me figure out my thoughts to explain it. So no, thank you. Shout out to you guys, for doing that, because I kept seeing people, yay, great news about Flynn freed, and I didn't know about it, and neither did Red Pill. So thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah, that's why I love this, because it's interactive. We get to hang out with you guys. We get to talk back and forth. You guys obviously are going to bring things to our attention if we don't know about it. Todd Blue also says, I squealed internally about Flynn. There was definitely an internal squeal for me too. EO2 Dave says, blinking is eyelid exercise. Well, guys, I can say it with certainty. I have the strongest eyelids on the face of the planet. Chef Dan says, boom, now remove the head of the Hydra and break the back of the devil. Mesa, Arizona, where we go one, we go all. It's happening, guys. I mean, we're in the midst of the DECLAS right now. There's no waiting. We've been in the middle of it for quite some time, and this is just, one thing that needs to happen among many. I think we're going to see many, many revelations here in the next days and in this next week. Don't go anywhere, guys, because we're going to bring it all to you right here. God's Daughter says, so glad I was here too, even if late. God's Daughter, I'm glad you were here with us too. Thank you to everybody who participated. Thank you for everybody who liked and shared the program. Thank you to everybody who just showed up, even if you didn't stay for the whole time. And thank you to everybody who supports Methods and I's work here in bringing you the real news. Once again, don't miss Red Pill News tonight at 6 p.m., and we will see you guys all tomorrow for Quarantine at 2 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you haven't hit the like button yet, you've still got time. There are still a couple of seconds left. 2.2 thousand likes, 4,444 people watching the show. That is an awesome number to see right there. Law Dog says, I ate 12 raw tomatoes. I can't move fast enough. Running not an option. Oh, God, just sneeze. All right, that's a good way to end it.
What a great final comment. But yeah, thank you guys for all hanging out with us once again. We really do enjoy doing this show, and we are having discussions on what the future holds for Red Pill and Methods when it comes to doing this kind of thing. So stay tuned for that. We're still deciding on when we're going to tie a bow on this show as Quarantine, but just be on the lookout. Keep hanging out, share this stuff. I mean, it's really hard to break through the things. Anytime I share YouTube clips on Twitter, I feel like it gets censored. I don't expect for everybody to retweet everything I do, but really just let friends know about it. We hang out. We want to have this time with you guys, so we really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody, and we'll be back at it tomorrow.
All right, guys. Good luck and God bless.